Hey guys, Chelsea from Attention to Details, and today we are working on a really cool vehicle. This is a 1967 Pontiac Gto. Now we're going to do a quick walk around. I want to share with you guys what we're going to be doing on this vehicle versus what the customer requested. Now I know a lot of detailers want to get into doing classic cars, and there's a few things that you need to be aware of when you are working on classic cars before you just jump head in and working on them the way you kind of routinely would with some of the more modern vehicles that are on the road. So let's take a look at what's going on. So this is a 1967 Pontiac Gto. It has 21,000 original miles. It is single stage paint. It's original paint, and it is on its second owner. The underbody of this vehicle has absolutely no rust, and you can see the interior is in fantastic condition. Now, the type of detail that we are doing today is not a restoration detail. We're doing more like a preservation detail. I want to keep it kind of error-centric. I'm not necessarily looking to make it look like factory new. I love the fact that the customer has just kind of helped maintain the integrity and the character of this era. When you put your head in this cabin, guys, I wish I could share through the screen what the interior of this cabin smells like. It smells a little bit like my grandparents' house. It smells like home. It just smells fantastic. But really where we've got a lot of our defects going on is our paint. And you can see we really don't have very good clarity on the paint. This is single stage paint. Single stage paint is different than our modern clear coats that you see on our vehicles. This is where you have the clear and the color combined in one stage. And over time, if you don't wax it to put that UV protection down, and if you don't do maybe a cleaner wax every few years or so, you're going to kind of have almost like a layer of oxidation and dead skin on top that needs to be essentially abraded off. Now, even when I see the sun right here, you can see we've got almost some pops in the paint here. And we do actually have some areas here. It's kind of hard to see. Focus, little buddy. But you can see if you run your finger over it, there's some bubbles under the paint. We've got almost like some solvent pop or fish eyes. We do have some deep gouges in the clear coat that obviously I don't want to be super aggressive on them. There are some more noticeable things that you really don't even need a light. You can see right here where the color, the clear, and everything is just failing. The only solution for that is a respray, unfortunately. There's no really good fix for that, because if you're super aggressive on it, you're just going to create more issues for the customer. A lot of people aren't familiar with this term, but this is actually called crow's feet. And this is what happens when your clear and your color kind of start to separate and you've got a delamination of the paint underneath. I could come in here with a polish and try to remove some of the dead skin or the oxidation and clean up the paint. But what's going to happen 9 times out of 10, if you don't have the right polish on hand, what you're going to actually do is fill in all of those cracks on that crow's feet and make it extremely noticeable for the customer. At this point, it's not very noticeable to the naked eye. When the sun hits it at certain angles, maybe you can see it. But if I were to fill that in with polish, it's going to be pretty noticeable. So you want to make sure you either have, the right polish and pad. We're going to do a test spot with a product later on when we're done washing it, just to see if maybe we can bring back some of the clarity on this paint. I don't know if I necessarily want to get into that today with a full-on polish, because the customer was okay with just a wash, a clay bar treatment, and a wax or sealant. So let's get into it. For our tires and wheels and wheel wells, we're using tire and rubber rejuvenator from Glaze 37, as well as their foaming wheel cleaner. I did go twice around the tires. You can see there was a lot of nasty black residue from the tires that were kind of masked with a tire dressing. So we did a thorough cleaning of all surfaces, gave them a good rinse. They cleaned up nicely. So we're going a little old school on this one. We're just going to use a standard hose, bucket. We've got Glaze 37 Xtreme foam formula and a gentle wash mitt. The vehicle really isn't that dirty, and so we're just going to do a standard wash down on this, and then we're going to give everything a good rinse and follow up with our Rag Company Ultra Clay Towel just to do a quick decontamination on it. The surface felt pretty smooth other than those bumps in the paint on the back end. So for the most part, we're just trying to clean the paint. I'm not really worried about any light marring that might occur because the paint is already pretty marred from just the years of washing and drying from use. So we're just doing a quick dry down of this. We're going to examine the paint to see what the condition of it is after we've gotten everything cleaned and dried. And you can see, even without polishing, the crow's feet and the defects are still pretty noticeable, but more than anything, we do have kind of a flatness, a dullness to the paint. So I think at this point, I know how I'm going to proceed with the paint. So because some of the imperfections in the paint are so noticeable without me even doing a polish, I feel like we're going to test out the idea of doing at least a polish on this paint. Now it's single stage. If you've never polished single stage paint before, I've only done it a few handful of times, but in different groups that I'm a part of, I am well aware that we're going to have a lot of paint transfer on our pads. We're going to go through pads very quickly. So I actually have my pad washer set up. We have the McKee's 37 polishing pad rejuvenator in our pad washers, so that way, because you can see I only have a handful of white polishing pads. I know I'm going to need a lot more than that, so we're going to try to keep them clean as much as possible. I might spend more time cleaning pads than actually polishing the vehicle, but I was fortunate enough that I have this in my arsenal. This is Xtreme Solutions LVR 403. You can see that this is a sealing glaze that is specially formulated for dark colored vehicles. Unique polish and not only imparts a dazzling gloss, it will also remove buffer swirls, micro surface imperfections, and oxidation, which that's essentially all I really need to do in this moment. So we're going to kind of do an experiment. We're going to do, you know, a more inconspicuous area and see if we can get a little bit of that clarity gloss restored to the vehicle. I can already see, like even here, this was before I even washed it, but you can just see some light love marks from where the customer has washed it. Heck, I mean, it's a 67. What do you expect, folks? So I'm not looking for paint perfection in this moment. I'm not looking to get every swirl and scratch out of it. I don't want to be aggressive, go over it 3, 4, 5 times. I'm going to do quick passes because, again, there's some areas where the clear is already delaminating. I'm not going to compromise the paint any more than it already is, but if we can at least remove some of the oxidation and give back a little bit of gloss to this paint, I think the customer is going to be really happy. You can see we've got a lot of swirls and scratches on this paint, and it just doesn't have a really good shine to it. So let's see what we can do to bring back some of the gloss. So here's a quick update for you guys on what we are doing. I've been able to do a very quick paint enhancement polish using the LVR 403 foam pad polishing glaze. It's turning out really great. I'm essentially just doing 2 passes with a white polishing pad. You can see we are picking up some of that paint transfer on our pad, but there's also some, because it's a tinted polishing glaze, we're picking up some of that on the pad as well. But we've been able to remove a light layer of oxidation that was on the paint, remove kind of that hazing that was on there from just wear and tear and improper washing over the years, and just give it a little bit more depth and richness to the color. On our panels that have the crow's feet, we do have a little bit of where that sealant or the glaze is kind of filling in some of the crow's feet. Now this was noticeable before we even polished it, and that's why I just decided we're going to go ahead and polish, because I could see it before I even did that, and I figured at this point there's no more harm, no more foul. But here you can see our crow's feet are a little bit more noticeable. I apologize, it's a really bright day, so it's kind of hard for me to focus and show this to you, but hopefully you can see that. Now I want to share with you guys a quick product. So I contacted Xtreme Solutions. They are a local company to me, and they sent over black diamond paste wax. They actually just got done dropping it off. Now this is a black tinted paste wax. It's specifically designed for use on darker colored vehicles. Formulated with Brazilian carnauba, this detergent-proof wax will provide long-lasting protection and immaculate luster. And I was just testing this out. I know everyone's freaking out that I don't have gloves on. So we're actually going to come in right here. I don't know if you can see this kind of section here with our crow's feet. We're just going to kind of massage this in. Now, I'm not going to do this the entire vehicle. I would probably apply this by a microfiber. But we're just kind of massaging this in. We're going to let that set up for a second. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity or great solution to any sort of polish that might be filling in. You can see that that black wax kind of helps mask some of the crow's feet that's going on. When you look here, you can see the crow's feet really well, and here it's not as pronounced because we've kind of filled it in with that black paste wax. So we're going to go ahead. I'm really thankful to Steve and Doug over at Xtreme Solutions for sending this over to me. So for those of you that have darker vehicles that are looking to put a layer protection down, but also kind of, if you do have this issue going on with your paint, this is a great way to kind of help make that a little bit less noticeable. I'm not going to say it's going to fix it or remove it, but maybe if you're going to a car show and you don't want those things to stand out, this is a great product to kind of help give you your best appearance or best foot forward. So we're going to finish up polishing. I really only have these back 3 panels to do. The beauty of polishing older vehicles is everything is just pretty much straight and very simple and methodical. So we've been able to make really good time on polishing it. The chrome is cleaning up really well. My husband's on that duty. We're using some quick glow chrome polish, and it's turning out really great. So we're going to get the black diamond paste wax applied. We'll pull that into the garage and apply that out of direct sunlight. All right, we are all done with the Pontiac Gto. I didn't necessarily show the footage of the interior because it was a very basic process. We vacuumed everything. Because the vinyl was a little bit delicate in some surfaces, I didn't use an aggressive cleaner. I actually used a rinseless wash. This is American Detailer Garage Fusion. I have kind of a flare saw pump here. Was able to wipe down all of the vinyl plastics and the glass. I did a great job of kind of cleaning the chrome, etc. And then we topped everything with the American Detailer Garage Shield. This is an interior surface protective coating that has UV protection within it. It did a great job of, 1, a fantastic smell, 2, just being able to put a light UV protectant on all of the delicate vinyls inside the vehicle. On our exterior, we did use the LVR 403 polishing glaze as well as the black diamond paste wax. It turned out fantastic. A lot of the blemishes that were on the paint, the black diamond paste wax was able to kind of help fill them in so that they are not as noticeable. We have our water-based dressing on our tires. All the chrome was tediously and very lovingly polished. Thank you, honey. And the paint just turned out really great. For the fact that we weren't really going after paint perfection, we removed a light layer of oxidation. We were able to restore some of the depth and richness to the paint. It actually kind of made it look almost like a purplish blue. But you can see the areas where we had a lot of that clear coat kind of cracking and delaminating, the black paste wax was able to kind of help fill in some of those imperfections so that from the naked eye, from a distance, it's not noticeable at all. Even our crow's feet over here, you can see it filled in all of those cracks, so it is far less noticeable, so that if the customer were to take this to a car show, all people are going to notice is just we've got a really beautiful, shiny car, and it's a great homage to this era, and it was a privilege to work on it. So I will put the link for the products down below. For those of you that maybe you want to work on classic cars, or maybe you have a classic car that it's not perfect, you know, maybe it's starting to show some of its age, but you don't necessarily want to have to spend thousands of dollars on a respray, I think these are fantastic products and options to keep your vehicle looking fantastic. So alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in the next detail.